Hey guys, Matt Allen here. Welcome back to Tactical Bassin. Another beautiful day out on the lake. We're going to talk about something a little bit different today. I don't know if you can see this boat out here in the background. Where I'm at right now, totally calm. It's windy. There's a breeze coming in, but it's calm. But where we're headed, not so calm. So why don't we talk about keeping yourself safe and how to run your boat in rough water, because a lot of fishermen are afraid to go out in the rough stuff. Now, if you are a bank fisherman, well, good for you. These are the days where you do not want to own a boat. You know, it's big swells out there. It's not monsters. It's not like 5 or 8 footers or anything, but it's big enough swells that you're going home with a backache. So if you're on the shore, you're dialed today. This is your day just to stand there, catch fish, and enjoy watching the boats go by just getting slammed. But if you are out on the boat, this one's for you. First thing you need to do, make sure everything's strapped. All your rods, you want them in the box, but if you have too many, strap them. Strap your net. We need to strap our trolling motor. Let's jump up here. I'll try not to fall in the lake while I do it. Trolling motor strapped. Units are secure. We're gonna throw a life jacket on. We're gonna throw the kill switch on. We're gonna go out here in some of this rough water, but what you want to know about running rough water, the most important thing, in my opinion, is understanding that unless you're in a tournament, you don't have to go fast, right? If you're in a tournament, you got 10 minutes to get there, you should have planned better, but now you're in a bad situation and you got to run it. And it's all about how you trim that motor. That's key. But if you're not in a tournament, go slow. There's no reason to get hurt, with the exception of today where I'm going to go out and run this stuff just because, but normally there's no reason to go out there and pound these waves. So we're going to swing out around this corner. I'm not sure how bad it is, but from here I can see white caps, so I think we're going to have some pretty good swells. Probably get a little bit wet, but throw that life jacket on, throw that kill switch on. I'm going to teach you about how to trim and how to move through these swells. We'll run some of them. You'll see my hands working. When we finally get stopped, I'll explain what I was doing. I'll check in with you in a minute. All right, guys, life jacket's on. Kill switch is on. Before I jump out around this corner, I thought maybe I'll walk you through this stuff ahead of time. So basically there's 3 things that we're going to do. 1, we got to run upwind. 2, downwind. 3, a crosswind. Running upwind is definitely the easiest. You take some hits, but you're just cruising upwind. The key is that trim, keeping her trimmed down. You want to be down as much as possible without spearing waves. That'll keep your boat from bouncing. Now, my boat, I've got trim right here at the console, so I don't have to take my hand back and operate my trim here. I can do it without taking my hands off the wheel. I'm also running a hot foot, which makes life a lot easier because it allows me to have 2 hands on the wheel. So you won't be seeing me running throttle here with my hand, but there's nothing wrong with that if you don't have a hot foot. But if you have the option, a hot foot really helps with that rough water. Now coming downwind, same deal. Being trimmed down is key to that softest, smoothest ride. It's forcing the nose down into the waves. But if you trim down too far, you are absolutely going to spear, meaning your nose is going to go under and a wall of water is going to come through the boat. You don't want that. So there's a balance there, finding that sweet spot. And you'll see me adjusting as we're going through the swells, trying to find that sweet spot. And then once you find it, it's about just staying on top and skipping on those waves. Now when the swells get huge and you can't skip anymore, slow it down and just pick a wave and just kind of stay with it. The third, going across, again, trim is critical. That's what's going to determine whether you're getting beat to pieces or whether you're getting a fairly smooth ride. Now going across, I take some waves over the side. There's no way around it. But what you want to do as you're crossing those waves, I try to quarter downwind just a hair. So I'm going straight across, but down just a little. That seems to be the smoothest ride. So let's go out here, let's run some of this stuff. I'm not sure how big it is. I don't know if it's going to be big enough that you really get a look at it, but you should at least see the boat traveling through some of these swells, kind of how we steer into them, quarter into them to save the boat, and just work our way over them. I'll check in with you here in a little bit. Let's do it. Whoops. As you guys can see, going upwind, not a big deal, right? We just get that trim set. This camera over here showing you that trim, and then we're just cruising. That's really all there is to it. And our chop, it's not giant right now. We've got some white caps. It was actually bigger this morning, but it's big enough to be really uncomfortable, especially if you're in a smaller boat. So that's coming upwind. It's no big deal. We're going to turn around and run back down. It's actually going to be even smoother sailing once we get our trim set. It's really no big deal. I'm actually going to flip the camera around so you guys are looking at me. We'll run down this set. All right, so we went ahead and ran down, ran back up. We're running about 48 miles an hour. So we're not screaming down the lake, but we're not going slow either. Again, this isn't the biggest chop in the world. Realistically, we're in about 1.5 foot of chop. And then there's the occasional like 2 to 2.5 footer. Those are the ones that we're really banging on. But we're gonna go ahead and cross the wind. This is the one that can hurt you the most because you get comfortable, you think you're good, and then you catch one wrong. But ideally, when I'm running crosswind, like I was saying earlier, I just barely want a quarter down wave. That'll give you that smoothest ride. But this works extremely well when the waves get huge. Here at about 1.5 foot, this is actually about the worst time to do it. Now, you're gonna find yourself in times where you have to do it, but this is when it's the bounciest, the choppiest. When the swells get big, 4-footers, 5-footers, giant 6-footers you can't see over the top of, it actually gets smooth in between the waves. And that's when running across them becomes almost like driving down the highway. You've got 2 big walls of water on either side, but essentially you can run right down the gut with no issues at all. That's how we're able to guide out here on a big lake like Clear Lake, even in tough conditions. People see those huge swells, they're thinking, you know, you're going out there to die. But the reality is when you get out there and you start running and the swells get really, really big, they pass that point where it's hurting. It's still dangerous, you still need to be careful, but you're not taking the impacts. You can get in between the swells and really travel effectively in there, back and forth across the lake, and just slowly work your way up or downwind through those swells. And you're able to get to a lot of places that you wouldn't think you otherwise could. So let's spin it around here. We'll run across these waves a little bit and we'll wrap it up. Okay guys, we're gonna wrap it up there, but that was 55 miles an hour, cross wave in 1 to 2 footers. Not giant swells, but they're also not slowing us down at all. Those are big enough swells to hurt you, to go home sore, wish you were going to the chiropractor. But if you run them right, quarter down just a little bit, you can smash your way through them. I mean, it's bucking you around, but it's not bad. That spray we were taking there at the end, that's when we were running out of water, forced to quarter upwind. That's when you start breaking those waves and taking that spray over the side. I hope that helps you guys. You know, if you have the choice to go out on a calm day or a windy day, obviously you choose the calm day. But a lot of us, guys that have jobs, you don't have the choice. You gotta fish when you can. And that's what this is about. This is about getting out there on those days when you're available to fish and staying safe, keeping yourself from getting hurt. Wear that life jacket, wear that kill switch, do the best you can with the boat that you've got. You're gonna be just fine. You'll be catching fish for years to come. We'll talk to you soon.